Hey, Miles here, milesbeckler.com. Today I've got my friend Tim Conley on the show with me. Tim, welcome back.
I am excited to be here.
Nice. So Tim is a consultant, he's an entrepreneur, he's a marketer. He's really good at helping digital agencies grow digital agencies. So digital agency owners, bootstrapped owners, entrepreneurs trying to offer services. What we're doing today is we're going to do a deep dive with question and answer. There's a lot of questions. Tim, are you ready for lightning round?
I'm always ready.
Always ready.
Always ready.
So I asked my members at contentandconversion.com who are doing the agency model if they had any questions for Tim because I knew this was happening. I got pages of questions from them that we're going to run through. So you're going to get a ton of value understanding the ins and outs that other agency owners who are bootstrapping their marketing agencies, the questions they have for Tim, and then you're going to get a lot of value from Tim's answers, and I'll interject from time to time. Tim, where can people find you? Your Instagram, Hey Tim Conley?
Yes, Hey Tim Conley, TimConley, and you can find me on YouTube.
Also Tim Conley.
Yep.
All right, figured we get that out of the way before versus the end. Go like him, subscribe to him, thumbs up him, and do those engaging things.
All the socials.
All of the socials. So Tim, one of the biggest questions, and I've rated these based on how many times the questions were asked. Ooh,
Okay.
One last little tidbit. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, it's because all of the basics were covered in the actual core training. There is a training course inside of contentandconversion.com for agency members for the kind of basics of how to start an agency. So if I skipped your question, it's because it was answered in that, and you got to go back to the actual training. Now, on to the questions. Tim, where can I find agencies or quality workers where I can outsource work to? I'm having troubles getting good quality work, people to actually show up and deliver with excellence. Because they don't want to do the work themselves is where this is coming from. It's the idea of arbitraging the effort. In the theory is beautiful, but the execution is brutal at times.
Yes.
So where do we find them? What tips do you have to help people who are trying to get that machine on?
Okay, so there's a couple of questions actually hidden in there. One of them is outsourcing to agencies, white labeling and all that.
Right.
I am not a fan of it.
Okay.
Not a fan. A good friend of mine, John Logar, he tells people to do that all the time. And I think it's a great place to start. It's a good way to get going, but it's a terrible way to run a company.
Got it.
Because you have no control over the quality of your product. You cannot make changes to their processes. You cannot improve the outcomes. As opposed to having an employee, you can say, oh, that's not working. Let's do this other thing. Right? You can do that.
Right. Or you suck, you're fired, I'm bringing in somebody with talent.
Right. But you can do that with an agency, but then you just go to another agency and you're going to get the exact same problems.
So when you go with this kind of an arbitrage approach, you are building a business based on the output of someone else's system, and you have no control within the system to modify, improve quality, other than adding more man hours at the end to fix the semi-good.
Yes.
Like they give you semi-rubbish and you have to go polish the turd, and that takes more time. That was a terrible phrase to use, but I think we made a clear point.
Right.
That's the big challenge with it.
That's the biggest challenge, unless, and this is the only time that it actually works, and I've never seen anyone pull this off, is that you become their number one client and you can dictate all the terms.
So you get to start to swing a little of your weight with them because you're their number one client.
Right.
But for someone starting out bootstrapping, that's just not the way it would work.
It'll never work that way.
So then, as far as an idea or a framework, I think if someone works individually with local businesses, growing their kind of agency piece by piece, step by step themselves, doing most of the work themselves, but quickly bringing on someone to help and someone to kind of help and train as they go, keeping it internal sounds like is your preferred way to go, or leverage a third-party company for a bit to get the cash flow, to get a few clients going, and then try to bring in somebody who can be part project manager, part doer?
Okay. Depends on your goals.
Okay.
So if your goal is to build a large agency, outsource right at the beginning. Never do the work.
And you're talking like $2 million to $5 million a year type agency, 150 and up, yeah.
And up.
So like $150,000 a month to $1 million a month and beyond type agencies.
Right. If that's your goal, then anytime you spend doing any labor inside your company is not keeping you from achieving this really big goal.
Because it's all sales volume that matters.
Exactly.
It's all sales.
Just sales.
It's to grow to $1 million a month. You need to be landing multi-$1,000 contracts every single day.
Yes.
And you have no time to do the work because you literally are nonstop prospecting, on calls, presenting, closing deals.
Correct. But if your goal is to grow up to a $2 to $3 million agency over the next 5 years,
yep,
then you need to be intimate with your clients.
Right.
You really need to be involved in it. That doesn't mean you have to do all the work immediately at the beginning. You can still bring on people to assist, but you're looking at having very intimate control of the product.
Right.
That whatever your service is, you have intimate control on how it's delivered, how it's created, what it looks like, how you package it up, the entire package.
So it's almost being more of a boutique versus a box store,
right?
In many senses.
Right.
And so somebody who's like thinking, man, I just want to get to 10 grand a month, or I want to go to 10 to 30 grand a month range, which is, kind of in that lifestyle business model. Like
you don't need to hire anyone.
Right. You should be able to do that all yourself. Bring in maybe an assistant, so a teammate to help out.
Nope. By yourself.
Do the whole
literally
thing.
By yourself.
Gotcha.
You should be able to make $300,000 a year.
Perfect. Cool. I'm going to call that question answered. So we have a friend. So we've got a friend who Tim helped them grow from $600,000 per year in revenue to about 3-ish million in revenue, about a 5x growth. And I use that example in my email to my members. So my one member is asking, where would the best place to find a reputable agency like this, literally like our friend? Because he's saying, I might have friends that I want to just be almost an affiliate for the agency. And does that make any sense? So it's not even white labeling. They don't even want to be involved in the process. And my instant thought on this is like, they don't need you. They have systems to attract customers, but do you think there's any agencies out there that have like affiliate programs or that would build a referral relationship to where all you do is sell and then you're 100% out of the loop? Or is that just a false belief?
That is 100% of agencies would love that.
Okay. So literally, if they went to a niche agency and they somehow had access to this group, or they're just gonna, they're a little step beyond lead gen at that point. Mm-hmm. Broker the deal. Go find the agency. Go find some clients. Make it happen, and move forward.
And move forward.
So
you can do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Figuring out the right commission structure, all that work. That's just going to be negotiated with whoever you find.
Right.
Then but again, you will have zero control.
Right.
That might be fine for you. And if you're talking in those terms, then it's kind of like affiliate marketing. You have no control over the product, the delivery, anything.
Getting paid.
Or getting paid. And then you're putting your reputation on the line.
Right. Right. So you're the front person, you're front loading that reputation, all of that. But then, so I have one affiliate, the dude just stopped paying me. I've got over $8,000 in commissions sitting there. He just stopped paying me. It's just not even worth my time to go after it. It's just kind of a byproduct of that. So you're putting yourself consciously in that sort of a precarious situation. And you have to negotiate some sort of like lifetime commissions if you do that. Because if you're just making a front end commission, you're just always going to be on that treadmill. And the kind of goal of building an agency, I think, is the recurring cash flow that you can build, because that's how you can kind of grow a team and grow a business on that. Or would you just say, if it's a big enough commission up front, like, get her done?
Yeah. Money now is always better than money later.
Interesting. The future value of money is actually technically that actually is extremely true with inflation. Like
money now is always better than money later. So if you can work out sales for someone else, great. They're going to love you because you're commission only.
Right.
And I get asked this by like a lot of entrepreneurs. How do I get commission only salespeople? Because I'm cheap. Right. I don't actually want to invest in my own sales processes. So then I can just get somebody to work for free, right? And I'll pay them only when they perform.
Performance, right?
Right. That's what you're talking about. Everyone wants you.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. Good to know. So one of the cool benefits of that would be that you're focusing on, like what we started at the beginning of growing a big it's all about the sales. It's all about the relationships. It's about getting known as somebody who can deliver. You do take the risk, and it's on them to deliver, so you don't have much control. But it sounds like it is a possible situation.
Yes.
The next question, 3 people asked this one about routines, personal habits, and even affirmations. I mashed this up on my own. Tim, what do you think my average day should look like as a bootstrapped agency entrepreneur, someone who's trying to get to that 10 to 30 grand a month? What should my day be? Like a routine, like what's a routine to where they could be like, okay, I'm kind of on that, or I'm totally doing the wrong stuff every day.
Do you want me to give you my truthful answer or the motivational answer?
Both. I think we need both at this point.
Right. The one that is gonna be a lie is that you get you all hyped up that you can just work 4 hours a day and that's all it's gonna take.
Run a Facebook ad, had a funnel, and voila, that's it.
I literally had this conversation yesterday evening with one of my clients who's in Australia, and I said, you need to be putting in 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And he's already doing 100,000 a month.
Right.
But he's got these particular goals he's trying to achieve. Right. I'm like, you got to come back to this business as if you're a startup.
Hungry.
You got to want it.
Right.
Right. So that, I don't care what your routines are, what your affirmations are. If you don't show up first thing in the morning, pop up out of bed and get right to work and then fall into bed exhausted at night, you're going to have a hard time building a business.
So literally it is just like brute force Viking approach. Just put in the work. You'll figure out your routines over time. Within that framework though, there has to be like we already said, selling is the most important thing. So if we think of it as like a row of dominoes and like getting the check is that last domino, reverse engineering the dominoes. Well, you'll need to make a proposal. Well, how do I get them to ask for a proposal? Well, I did a one-on-one phone consultation with them. Well, how did I get the one-on-one phone consultation with them? Well, I got out in my local area and I met them and I marketed them, or they came to my meetup group, and then, well, how did I get them to my meetup group? Well, I got a Facebook group that I'm going, well, how did I get them to the Facebook group? Well, I've been publishing to my YouTube channel every day and my blog every day.
Okay.
18 hours equally applied.
Okay. So
is there one step in there that it all hinges on, like that phone call? Like that's the thing, is just how do you get the phone calls and the calendar books out? Or
okay, here's the reason I say 18 hours, because I don't actually think you have to work that many hours. But when you don't know what you're doing, the more hours you can just throw at learning the problem, right, the more hours you can just throw at learning all these things. Because the things you just listed off, they're all hard.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Well, each one of them, they're complex too.
Each one.
Yeah.
Each one of those items, and now you got to learn how to turn that into a system.
Right.
Every day doing that system.
So you have to literally go be really bad at all of those little things, and it's going to take 3 to 4 times as much time as it will when you're good at them. But you have to do them all for months and months and months on end with 18-hour days to get even like a bare minimum of competence before you're like competent, not even good at it. I'm just saying like you can actually, you know what you're supposed to do, and it's worked once or twice, and there is no, I mean, it's just
there's
apply
no shortcut.
the time. There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
Just
so, but I don't want you to get demotivated. Okay, it's going to be months and months of you putting in a lot of hours. You might even be working a job and then needing to do 6 hours at night, right? Yep. You might be in that situation. So, okay, 6 hours a night. That's not 18 hours. So instead of taking 3 months, it might take 9 months.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you're not going to make any money between now and then. Because one of the beauties, one of the biggest things about service businesses of any kind is you can make money today.
Fast. One sale, one deal, one handshake, check comes in, you just made money.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no setting up a website. There's no getting business cards.
Right.
There's nothing. It's you talking to another human being and getting them to say yes and handing you money.
And a lot of people put so many things in between that. And that's why I'm such a proponent on like, go meet the business owners in your area, shake the hands. None of the outreach teams in India or the Philippines can do that, right? They can't go sit down with coffee with a local business owner. It's like one of those, it's the shortcut to building the relationship is shaking hands, being honest, and going, helping, sitting down with them and going and helping with them.
Okay. So back to actually what you should do. So Miles gave you a great rundown from like the end goal all the way back. Go back, play that section again. Okay. But this part is, how do you block out your day? Because one of the biggest things, because we all have just 24 hours max, and a lot of stuff takes up hours that we just can't give up, right? You've got to spend time with your kids. You've got to go to work if you're still in a job. You've got to do all these different things. So you have to be crazy disciplined. You have to live out of your calendar. And for the people who are like cringing at that right now, who feel like, well, I'm a creative, right? Well, I am a creative too. Look at me, right? I like my outer appearance is even to be creative. So I am a creative, but I live out of my calendar. So what you're going to do is, and I do this with every single one of my clients, when they need to do sales, we block 3 hours a day. And it comes down to these three things in those 3 hours. The first hour is outreach. If you don't have leads, then you spend an hour reaching out to as many people as you possibly can in that hour.
And I'll real quick tip on that. Like there's Monta, it's like monta.org, which is just like a giant business directory listing. You can use Google to find all of the businesses in your space. You can go to their websites, you can find their email addresses. Like if you don't know anybody, you need to go forge relationships. You need, like, cold outreach is an opportunity, and it's a hashtag do the work. So that's the bare minimum. Also go meet people.
Right. Go meet people. That's outreach and everything. Right. So that's that 1 hour. The very next hour is sales calls. This is where you're actually speaking to a human being. And here is the beauty of sales calls. One sales conversation per day, 5 days a week, will build $1 million a year agency.
Boom.
If you're not hitting one sales conversation a day, then that should be your goal, because it will build $1 million a year agency just from one sales conversation. And then in time, that sales conversation, you'll have 5 of them, a minimum of 5 in a week. If you're not getting that, you have to get to that. So you're going to do 1 hour. That's going to be a minimum of 1 hour dedicated to sales calls. The third hour in this 3 hour block is follow-up. Everyone that you've ever contacted, everyone that you've ever spoken to, you spend an hour doing follow-up. You're done. Okay? So sometimes you can get all your, if you have plenty of leads, then you may not spend the entire hour on outreach, that first hour. Maybe you've got 3 or 4 phone calls that you have to do. Well, you can't do an hour, right? So now I've got to have 4 sales conversations. That might take anywhere from 2 to 5 hours right there. So we're flexible on that. And then, but follow-up may take more than an hour. Well, then give it more than an hour if you've got a lot of people to follow up with. But after a while, you'll start developing a good rhythm, and you'll find that 3 hours a day dedicated to these sales activities will build you a strong business.
That's awesome. And, for people who are just getting started, you just like, okay, I don't have any sales calls today because I haven't done any of the prospecting work. Great. Double up on that, right? Like as you
3 hours of outreach.
You flexibilate them. You swap the time as you need to based on where you're at right now. But really focus on those hours on the phone with individuals who A, you haven't talked to before. That's the prospecting side. And B, people you've already talked to. That's the follow-up side. You need to be presenting essentially offers to people and doing sales calls.
Okay.
That's huge. So, somebody arrives to a brand new town. They got a 9-to-5 job every day. What would the first steps be for you if you were in a new town, new job, you're just starting over? How would you go about getting your first 3 clients in this new town? Obviously, it's this 3 hours. You would take that approach, but what physical actions would you do to meet those people personally?
Okay. I'm going to assume the person actually has skills.
Yes.
Right. So they could have a job that's they could have this job that's completely unrelated to what they're...
You know how to optimize a website. You know how to build a website. You know how to get somebody on Google My Business. You know how to do a thing that a business is willing to invest in because you are going to help them get more customers.
Right.
That's the baseline. Core competency. What'd you call it last time? Domain knowledge.
Domain knowledge.
You have domain knowledge.
Right. So I'm going to assume domain knowledge. If you've come to a new town, you have a job that's completely unrelated to any kind of agency work, well, guess what? The first thing you should do is go get domain knowledge.
Right.
Go meet people in the industry that you want to work with.
Right.
Go meet people who do the thing that you want to learn how to do. Learn how to do that thing. So if you're wanting to do Facebook ads, well, then go study several Facebook ads courses and then practice it.
Right.
Okay. And one of the things that I've talked with a lot of people who are new, and this is a new person question, right? Is they'll say, well, I need to get somebody to let me practice on their business. Like, you've got a business.
Right. Right.
Your business.
Right.
Practice on your own. Do marketing for yourself.
Right.
Run Facebook ads for your own business.
Be your own testimonial.
Yeah.
Be your own best client experience.
Build your portfolio by being awesome at promoting yourself. That is one of the best things you could possibly do, is as you're learning these digital marketing skills, is apply it directly to yourself. And then when you go to a client, a prospect, and you say, well, I want you to do it. And they go, well, what's your experience? Well, look what I've done.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I got you to have a conversation with me from my marketing skills.
Right.
So now we don't have to just do free work. You may still do some free work to get some good testimonials.
Right.
But you're going to be able to charge money. And when you charge money to a client, even if it's a few $100, and like my very first client project, when I decided to go out on my own, was $500.
Nice.
$500, and it was the most beautiful
stoked.
500.
Yeah, right.
Like there hasn't been money since that was better than that money.
Yep. Right. Even as the numbers, the zeros just start
Get
to add
bigger,
up. Right. There's
that
something about that.
$500, that
Yeah.
moment,
Right.
that moment when a client said, yes, I will risk this money and time and effort on you to, what I did was I wrote a space ad. And it's like, I wrote this ad and it converted like crazy.
Nice.
And it's like, I'm
That's
a genius.
awesome. Yeah.
Right? And it was amazing.
I've got the touch of Midas in my hand.
Like, Eugene Schwartz, man, that guy knew what he was talking about.
Right.
Right?
So, okay. So domain knowledge, be your own kind of like do the work for yourself. Be your own portfolio. Number two, like I'm thinking, because it was three things, but three things would you do? Like get out and meet people, shake hands. Every single business, every meetup, I don't even care. I would go to everything business related for sure. But then I'd go to the hiking. I'd go to every meetup I possibly could that has a high likelihood of business owners connecting at. I would really truly want to just, how do I immerse myself around business owners to just start to forge relationships and to shake hands and to meet people.
Okay. There's going to be some people who are going to, oh, there's very little of that in my area. Make it yourself.
That is,
okay.
100%.
So here's a little secret lesson. If you own the stage, you are automatically an authority.
Even if you don't know anything,
right?
You are the expert because you're the one who somehow took the initiative to put it together. That's not psychologically how it works. Psychologically, you're up there. We're all sitting here in the audience. Therefore, you are on a level compared to us. It's the best positioning there is.
Yes.
That's why I teach everybody to go start a meetup group. I think when you start a meetup group, you're going to need to market it. Meetup helps. Meetup will, and this is not an Eventbrite group. This is only a meetup group because they're marketing your group for you. They have people in your area who want things to do, so they send notifications to those people out interested in business about your meetup group. Then you could start a local Facebook group and you could start a local LinkedIn group where you kind of share the content and the ideas that you're talking about. It promotes all of itself to a thing. So I think that's wrapped into number two is go to all of the events and then build yours. And if there's already digital marketing events in your area, go niche out something that there's not, right? Like maybe there's a Google marketing for business. Maybe there's a keyword, maybe there's a WordPress for business, whatever, have that overlap. Facebook advertising for businesses in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I guarantee that's not a thing. And I guarantee you would bring in a lot of interesting people who'd be like, huh, what do you guys talk about up in here? I've heard about that Facebook advertising stuff around here. What y'all doing? You know, it will actually create interest, but also market your own event. And then like cold outreach would probably be number three, right?
Okay. And so I want to amplify the meetup thing.
Gotcha.
And there's a little trick, and it's
Tradito.
Right. And it's really meta. See what we're doing right now. You see that microphone right there? Go to these meetups and go, hey, Miles, can you come on to my podcast? Miles, would you like to sit and talk to me about your business?
I feel really self-important, and that kind of reflects my thoughts of how important I am. So yes, Tim, I will do that.
Right?
That would be fun.
Now you, it's back to this idea of authority.
That's freaking brilliant. I hadn't thought about that.
This is because everything I teach is around the idea of building authority, right? Because authority is the thing that attracts
when you are the Facebook advertising guy or gal in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you are the known authority by all little business owners around there, when anybody asks a question about anything about Facebook, oh, you got to go talk to the authority.
Right. And
that positioning is your goal.
And here's the crazy thing. Doing this interview with this person automatically gets them to assume
you're an authority.
That you're the authority on whatever topic you say you're an authority on.
Right.
Even if you don't know it. And I guess I can call it the Oprah effect. Oprah doesn't know anything. She interviews people.
Right.
And then she says, oh, you should go buy that product. And millions of those products get sold.
Yeah.
Because people trust Oprah and believe her to be an authority. She's launched doctors' TV careers.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And she didn't know anything about medicine.
Right.
Yet people will trust her opinion on medicine, diet, things that could kill you. Right? They'll trust her, and she doesn't know anything about it. And it's this authority effect.
So you get positioned brilliantly when you expert the other people. It makes them feel good. It gives you that relation. It takes the relationship to the absolute next level. It also gives you content to send out to your Facebook. Upload that thing to your Facebook group. That's for the local group. Upload that thing to your LinkedIn group. It gives you a little bit of content to go in between. And then, I mean, that's brilliant. That really is a 2.0 add-on to the meetup group, is to start because it's all about content. You get that. You're watching that. You know that. Don't be afraid of cold outreach is the third one. Like there's a point where we just got to do it. You just got to look up, find the business owners, find ways to open the door with them to get a conversation started. Your opportunity being local might be that you could sit down over coffee with them. You'll buy them a cup of coffee and you'll take a look at their GMB and make sure they're optimized. You can always, and I teach this in the course that's in the content and conversion, is you can go to Google and you can type in a business and you can see if they've claimed their Google My Business listing. If they haven't claimed their Google My Business listing, it's like 9 minutes of work to fix that for them. And you have a data point that says that you're one of the 53% of businesses who don't have this little thing set up, and those who do show up higher on the map than those who don't. And they'll be like, huh? I didn't know any of that. Why don't you tell me? You're like, okay, I'll tell you over coffee. Okay, sounds good, right? And then you'll sit down with coffee and you explain it to them, and instantly you're like, you're a magician. Like literally, you're an alchemist magician person at that point in time. So like when I'm saying cold outreach, what I was trying to get to specifically there to make sure that's extremely clear is you don't have to go spam every business in your area. Sometimes doing cold outreach to find a business, have they done the GMB yet? Do they have their title description tags? Do a little research on their stuff. So when you send them an email, it's helpful. It's saying, look, I just noticed that you don't have this. I help local businesses with that. If you want to sit down at a coffee shop, we could log in on your laptop and get it done, or I'll explain how to do it. I'm Miles. I'm in your area. I'd love to sit down and chat. Plus, I like hiking shoes, and I love that you run a hiking store.
Done.
Then find a new angle and a new tweak and a new reason to reach out to the next and the next. It's not copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Dear, hello, sir. I hope, thank you, might be interested. Please thank SEO. Please call me by. Right? It's not copy and pasting one shitty message to everyone. It's literally spending the time to craft a great, like being a copywriter, like you're selling your headline, you're selling the, what is in it for them to give you the time to sit down, because business owners are busy and you have to sell it in that sense. So outreach doesn't mean spam, 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 spam. It means dig in, find a couple of things, do your research first, make sure they know you've done your research, make them see how you can help them in that moment, and then that works to get them on that sales call. And the sales call could technically be sitting across a table over coffee, right? It doesn't have to be on the phone. Right. It is more efficient on the phone, but you're gonna build a better relationship in person.
Yes.
Have we beat this one?
I think we have.
All right, so so what are the number one challenges and roadblocks that you see startup agencies have? What's like the biggest thing that when you see agencies and clients that they're just like if you could wave a magic wand and all of your clients and prospects would have this thing go away, what would that thing be?
Okay, if they're new, they're a startup, they're not selling enough. right? They're like, oh, I'm trying to do my craft.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my art.
Right.
Like, sell.
And they're spinning
right?
all the plates. Facebook ad, Facebook.
They're doing stuff, but what they need to be doing is selling.
Got it.
In the beginning, up until you've surpassed $1 million a year in revenue, selling is the number one thing you should be focused on.
So a follow-up on that, do most of the people who come to you and who you talk to, and even the ones you network, not necessarily clients, do they have sales skills at all? Is it a problem that they're uncomfortable selling, they're not spending the time with it because they're inefficient, they're inept because they've never read the books, they've never studied it?
All the new ones don't have a process. Well, even ones who are making millions of dollars a year tend to not have a formal process. They just kind of learn how to, they learn how to communicate and they just run with that. But they don't have a formal process. So most people don't have that process. You can learn a process, you can put one in place. Great book to start to learn how to sell high-end services is Spin Selling.
Okay.
Like, read that book.
Cool.
Again and again. Learn that.
Do you know who wrote that?
Oh gosh.
Amazon will know.
Yeah, Amazon knows.
Amazon will know.
Yeah. But Spin Selling, I like now that you've asked me, like my brain is sitting there trying to answer that question.
I've opened a loop. Do you see what happened
like,
here? I've opened a loop.
God damn, I gotta Google it now.
We'll be right back. We need to go on our phones for a minute. No, just kidding.
Right. So Spin Selling, you got to read it. That'll give you a good idea of how to communicate. It doesn't give you a good solid process though.
Got it.
But it's a good way of communication on high value stuff. If you're selling stuff that's $1,000 or less, then you just need to learn how to close. So you would go with something like Zig Ziglar, read some Zig Ziglar stuff.
Got it.
Learn
the art of the sale or the art of closing,
like,
whatever.
Yeah, stuff like that. Read like closing kind of books and sales courses, because if you're low ticket and if you're in an agency, you should not have anything low ticket. But you have low ticket sales, then it's just about handling objections and closing. When you are talking about stuff where in my sphere where it's 30,000 and up, then it's how do we communicate and how do I move you along through the sales process?
Got it.
So that you feel comfortable, right? So sales is the one thing that no one's doing enough of. That's why that 3-hour block.
Right.
Do at least that 3-hour block.
It's like brushing your teeth.
Right.
You just have to do it every day.
Yep.
Like sailing every day.
Okay. So then if you've been in business for a while, the one thing that is probably holding you back, you know how to sell, you've been doing sales, stuff's coming in, is you're not marketing. You have a terrible brand. You don't have a clean, clear, clarified message.
Got it.
You don't have that, and you're not shoving it into your market's face.
So marketing
everywhere.
and selling are kind of like two sides of the other coin, because the marketing is what gets you those appointments for you to get on a phone call to make your sales positions. Mm-hmm. So it's really that is the thing that everyone needs help with and figuring out is sales and marketing.
Yeah. So most people believe they have a sales problem, and that's usually only true in the very beginning. Or should only be true in the very beginning. But everyone, number one question I get every time is, how do I make more sales?
Gotcha.
I get that question from businesses that are doing $50 million a year and people who are doing $5,000 a year.
Is it a lead flow thing usually? Or
it's a lead flow thing, but it's really more about the messaging and the brand. You really need to start focusing on.
So it's the positioning thing, like you were just talking about. Because once you get positioned in that right spot, and you're like the guy for the thing, and there, like it changes the game. They come to you, the marketing. So you're like through the brand positioning, your USP, like getting all of that dialed in the correct way is going to put you at the point of, if you're in this world and you need help with that, you go to this person.
Yes, but people also need to know you are that person. Okay? So positioning is the thing that they go, yes, I want that.
Right.
But marketing and advertising are the things that get people to become aware of you and go, oh, that is the thing I've been looking for.
Got it.
Right? So that's the number one thing is if you've been in business for a while, your marketing sucks.
Right.
And I've met so many marketing agencies that have terrible marketing.
Right. But even for somebody who's just starting out and just getting going, running a local meetup group that's helpful, running a podcast in the area where you interview the business owners and learn how they're doing what they're doing, like all of that that's a starting point for somebody to just to get going at that point.
Those I call those credibility indicators.
Right.
So the more credibility indicators you can stack up in your favor, testimonials, case studies, meetups, Kindle book, podcast,
right.
a YouTube channel, putting out content on LinkedIn. The more of those
case studies from clients,
more of those credibility indicators that you can create, even some that aren't even customer related because you don't have any clients yet.
Right.
So you can still create credibility indicators that show you know what you're talking about before you ever even have your first client.
That's super smart. And that is really the trick. I've never thought of it from a credibility indicator standpoint, but that's it. And when people do the meetups, like, are you recording that meetup? Are you getting at least bare minimum the audio, but throw a camera, throw a mic on you for your cell phone, record that? Is that going up on your podcast and your YouTube afterwards and your Facebook groups, all of these other things? You start to kind of be everywhere. And by default, even if you're teaching to an empty room, and we've had a couple people they've had no-shows for their meetup groups, and they still recorded, and they're like, I'm here, I got the room, I got the wall, I'm doing this. They did it and they threw it out anyways. It's brilliant. Nobody who watches afterwards knows that there's nobody in the room, and it's just that positioning and then, the heartbeat, the frequency showing up every week and through the ups and downs. And
okay, so one thing that another little trick, because you mentioned this about recording at your meetups. So one of my companies, we host workshops. Okay. And we get testimonials from these people who attend the workshop. Right. Right. They paid us money. So
in the moment.
So they paid us money. So they are a client. Right. Right. They paid to come to the workshop. So that, then we ask them, well, what'd you learn from us? And they tell the camera, well, I learned this, this, and this. And these guys are amazing.
Wow. So is the triggering question that you actually record the answer to, what did you learn tonight? Or what did you learn today at the workshop from us? Yeah. And well, today I learned, and then they share their excitement about it and you just capture that. Do you have like a little booth? Do you do that in the same room at the end? Do they just say, hey, afterwards, if you want to share what you learned, just pop over here?
At the end, and then we have the camera guy just ask them a question. They look into the camera and they just say their answer. And now
credibility indicator.
We have credibility indicator. Yep. And they're not... You could do that without having any other clients. We have client testimonials, right? But we also add to our client testimonials by having these, and we turn those into 60-second clips on Instagram. Yep. We put 3-minute clips on Facebook, and now we have all these people who are saying amazing things about us.
Right. That's really smart. Okay, 2 similar questions on this one. Niche versus general, like Dan Kennedy a lot talks about, and like chiropractors, build a process for chiropractors, lay it out through the world, make millions. Joe Polish did that with carpet cleaners. Yep. Versus general, being a generalist who just, I can help you with your marketing here in my local area. Which do you think is easier? Which do you think is better? If someone's starting and they, like, I'm guessing they don't feel they have a connection. They haven't been a carpet cleaner for 20 years, so they're not there with that business. They're like, which way do I go to get started?
Okay. I hate this whole niche thing.
Okay.
I do. The whole conversation around niching, it's inadequate. It's kind of right, but it's inadequate. A niche is only good as a wedge into a market. Okay. It is only good for that. And then after that, you need to keep shoving that wedge deeper and deeper into a market.
So it's an entry point.
Right. That is it. That is all it is for. Because I work with a lot of agencies that come to me. They're doing $500,000 a year, and I can pluck a competitor's logo and stick it on their website, and there's absolutely no difference.
Right.
Right. So niching 15 years ago, super smart.
Got it.
Super smart. Okay. Because, well, it was early in the internet.
Dan Kennedy hadn't trained everyone to go do this.
It didn't matter. But the internet was still new, and the internet allowed you to access niches and actually make a fortune from it. Before that, it was really hard to make a fortune from a niche. Well, now, 15 years on, everybody is a niche expert.
Right.
Everyone brand new entering a market is a niche expert. They all say they are. So there's no differentiation across the board. So if you take this niche idea to its logical conclusion, then you become the expert at marketing chiropractors who only work on toes, right? That just sit and pop toes all day, right? That is the logical conclusion. It's insane. So you need to use a niche only to build a wedge into an industry,
Right.
Right? Not a niche. An industry.
Gotcha.
Right? You need to be, so people that come to me that are getting started that don't have an affinity to a niche, meaning they were a carpet cleaner, so they're going to help carpet cleaners.
Right.
They don't have an affinity. They don't have any domain knowledge, meaning they weren't an expert at marketing carpet cleaning companies.
Right.
Right? So they weren't that. I tell them, work with whoever you can work with.
Well, it's the local becomes, right? Then you just become a helpful individual in your area who's trying to get something going and just see where it leads.
Yeah.
Or are you talking like work with anybody, like ask friends and family, like social, like literally all of the things?
All the things.
Right.
Right? Because that's, I had an affinity to software companies. I was in the tech space. I knew how to code. I had a lot of friends in there. So those were my first clients.
Got it.
So that's how I entered. But I realized I didn't actually like selling a lot of those things. So I started experimenting by taking on these other clients in different spaces. And then I found, I really like solving these other kinds of problems. And that's where
so that's
where
what you mean
I let the market take me
it's
somewhere.
the wedge that got you in, and then you saw where it went based on kind of personal feedback and how is this working
with the market, right?
With the market.
So if you've got domain knowledge, you have market affinity, go to a niche.
And I think another way of saying that is if you've got a story, right? Like the power of story is strong. If you've got a story around something, like if you really love, if you're really into four-wheeling and you really love, like you could go work with the four-wheel adventure companies, the four-wheel parts company. Like there's a lot of ways that can go. It's not like I worked in a four-wheel company, but it can be like there's a story there. Like I'm one of you, so I want to help you with this. And affinity is a great word for that. Because even in affiliate marketing, I tell people, look for your story. Where does your story overlap with something? Like you can't figure out, like find a story, because the power of story is real. And then that's what sets you apart. When you have that story, you're not somebody who's like, okay, I'm going to choose that niche. Four-wheeling. No, it's like I grew up, my dad, I've been like the story there kind of makes you one of the good old boys, so you can kind of go from there.
So a story that I have with one of my clients, and I took him on as a client. He's doing a couple $100,000 a year, and I was just like, man, you're too small for me. This is not the kind of thing I want. And I really tried to dissuade him from hiring me, but he was like, no, he's adamant. And in the process of trying to find where he should focus his time, he decided to pick like HVAC as a niche. I'm like, oh, so you know?
Your dad was in the local HVAC?
Nope. Do you know how HVAC is done? Nope. Like, he just picked it because, well, it's a big market.
Right.
There is a need. They're clearly identifiable. And
they're probably bad at marketing.
They're probably bad at marketing, and they have a high value per customer. Right. And I'm like, does that get you super excited to get up and work 18 hours? He's like, absolutely not. And I'm like, then why the hell are you doing it? Right? Because you're not going to go through all the hard part to learn those 5 things I just listed. Right. Do you know anything about the industry? Right. Like, you got to want to like hang out with these people. Right. Are you going to go to a bunch of HVAC conventions and hang out with them and learn everything about their lives? Right. If you're not going to do that, then you can't ever really understand the business needs. Right. You can get started, you can make, and if you look at all the crazy gurus out there who will tell you to go after like HVAC or chiropractors or any other niche like that, they'll also tell you is you could make $10,000 a month. Right. Yeah, you can make $10,000 a month with about 20 clients, working your tail off and miserable. Right. Like, that's no life. You don't have to choose that. So don't pick a niche that you don't have an affinity for, that you cannot love. If you cannot love that niche, don't take that niche.
The work gets really, really hard when you don't deeply love it and when you're not actually naturally curious about it, right? I got guys in the fishing space, golf space, all over, and like they love it. And new tech comes out and new things, and they're playing with it. They're doing live streams from the golf courses. They're doing live, like it's like they love that process, and it's blending that, and they're holding down regular jobs too while they're doing all of that. But boy, if it was like I have to learn this weird, abstract, boring industry, like I'm going to go help bean counters, like, oh, it would literally be like torturous. And ultimately, it can be a fun business model. And sometimes I think people get to a point where they're like, I did 20 years of that. I don't want to deal with that anymore. And like take a moment to honor how much value you have from those years of experience. And that might be your wedge in, and it might take you somewhere, but don't disregard past experience because you're over it. Because man, what is natural, normal, and easy for you now in that space compared to where other business, you may be leaps and bounds beyond where other people are. And boy, that's where the high paid consultants come in, are people who have that deep domain knowledge. And getting a few 20 grand a month clients could potentially be a great way to leverage all of that past work that maybe paid you $70,000 a year. It might be able to turn into a $70,000 a month thing that's a lot easier and more enjoyable, and it would just come naturally because you know it at that deep level. Like, Tim, when did you start writing copy for businesses? What year, roughly?
Oh, writing copy for other businesses?
Yeah, like, or for your own business.
That would have been 1998.
So 98, I made my first websites in 99. I started making my first money online in 03. So right here, we've got like 40 years of domain knowledge, and we're freaking geeks about this stuff. When we're done here in the Jeep, we're going to go four-wheeling. We're going to keep talking about this stuff. And before this, we were sitting at the table
for an hour
talking about this stuff. So like, it's that, like, we're not like putting on it. It's not like, okay, Tim, we're going to pull it together and make the content today. No, like, it's like, oh, yay, we get to make a video, Right. So, like, find that within what's going on for you. I think it's important. What about somebody looking at, they love a niche? Art is one. There's people who love art, they love music, and they want to help musicians, and all musicians and artists are broke.
Okay.
Is that a bad idea? Should they not help? Like, are they just doomed to have 100 clients to make their 10 grand a month?
Okay. Certain industries don't lend themselves well to agency work.
Very true.
Okay. Agency work is high dollar work.
Right.
All the crap that the gurus will tell you, just go out and you charge somebody $500 a month, charge them $1,000 a month, and you just go get 50 of those. They never tell you about churn. They never tell you that the person that they got for $500 a month is gone less than 3 months later.
Actually, they made their course before they even had that 3-month window closed.
There are some guys out there who are selling courses that have made a lot of money with their courses who never got through the churn cycle yet. They had just started. There was one dude out of Florida who got $3,000 a month clients. Portion of that $3,000 a month was ad spend, and he had 3 of them, so he was a 6-figure business.
Right.
6-figure business.
Made a course about it.
And made a course about how to become a 6-figure business. And made far more money, and is today making a lot of money selling how to do what he did on those first 3 clients that he never had for more than a few months.
Right.
Right. So that's
the environment.
Right. That's the environment. So but agencies require high value. I say the minimum you should be charging is $25,000 a year.
Got it.
Right? The minimum.
So it'd be like $2,000, $2,500 a month, roughly.
Right. So and that is barely scratching the surface. So if you're doing Facebook ads, you're charging that person $2,000 a month minimum to manage that ad campaign.
Plus ad spend.
Yep. Right? And that ad spend might be $5,000 or $6,000, right. Not $500 right. Like some of these gurus
the numbers don't work.
Right? It just doesn't pan out. So what you have to do, and a lot of times what I say about that $25,000 is usually more of a consultation, where the margins are far higher than actually doing Facebook ad campaigns.
Right.
So for me to run a Facebook ad campaign, I would charge somebody $35,000 to $55,000 to develop the strategy, and then
run it.
I would run the campaign. right? So that's the only way to have success long-term in an agency model, is to be able to charge people multiple 5 figures every single year. And then it's about managing churn, because all customers, all clients churn out. All clients churn out. You might keep one for 3 years. You might even keep a few for 5 or 6 years.
But eventually,
all clients leave because they either outgrow you,
yep,
because you have figured out what you do and
you
you do it
consulted yourself out of a consulting
and you
gig.
consulted yourself out of it, or they decide they're not getting enough value from you. And this happens all the time. You could be making them rich. I literally made a client rich, and he stopped working with me because he's like, I just don't see the value. I'm like, really? The fee that you're paying me versus the multiple millions that you're making per year, I don't understand.
So
but
what you do for me lately?
Yeah, it is literally that. So they may switch over to a cheaper competitor, just because they think, well, the things that you're doing, someone else could do too for cheaper. It just happens. So you have to understand that the only way to not lose your mind in an agency is to be able to charge multiple 5 figures, and if you can, move into the multiple 6-figure space, and maybe even to the 7-figure space. And that's where you can actually build real wealth and long-term success from an agency.
And you can work your way up to those levels, starting with the smaller people, helping them bigger. Like it is a growing into kind of a phase. Follow-up question on that. So do you think most people should be blending like consulting and agency work? Like, because like what you just laid out right there was like, I'm gonna go get my chunk for the strategy, and then when we're done, they go on like a retainer for the monthly. So it's kind of like consult first and then have an agency product after.
Okay. The only value an agency actually brings is the thinking.
Right.
If you are following guru courses that tell you get good at doing Facebook ads, you're going to struggle, because guess what? There's a million others of you.
They're going to churn out.
Right? There's no competitive advantage.
Right.
No competitive advantage. The competitive advantage you have is the stuff that goes on right here in your head.
So true.
So you sell the thinking first. Then you sell the labor, because the labor is the commodity.
Gotcha. That's smart.
That is the thing that people are going to drop you over.
Right.
But the one thing that people will pay you over and over and over and over again for years is the stuff right here in your head.
Right. For laying out that plan.
For laying out that plan. And your thinking stays valuable for years. Your labor stays valuable for months.
I was not very good at that when I was running this model. Like when you say that, now I'm looking at it, because now I could easily do strategy sessions with people, and I see the value in that. But, and I've got my ads guy, we've been thinking about bringing on a couple of clients, and I'm like I would want to do a large, big strategy with them, get it all hammered out, get it dialed, and then pass it off, and then it gets done every month at that rate every month. Interesting. I like that. I think it's important, because everything gets commodified. And once you're a commodity, it's like a race to the bottom. It literally is a race. It's like sort by price. I need a pen, sort by price. That one's cheap. I'll take that one. Well, other people are always going to be able to undercut you, especially with the global economy and the geo arbitrage. Yes. And they're at least going to be able to make big promises. But when you become, I think Seth Godin's got that book, The Linchpin, right? When your ideas, when you become the linchpin in their paid advertising strategy, and you keep them on the leading edge, and your strategy is what's making them all the money, and that strategy is implemented by your team, but that's actually the strategy is what they're still so stoked on. That's the best positioning to be in long term.
A little trick. If you don't sell the strategy separate from the labor, then it's just labor.
Right. So don't bundle it together. Like, okay, so phase one, when you're working with a client, when you're on those sales calls, phase one, we do a full strategy. It is $5,000, and we go from your website to your branding to your do. We go through all these bits and pieces, and then we come up with a custom, obviously for that, in that situation, then we come up with an exact strategy to help you. Well, you would come up with their goals in the strategy session as well, and then you create the commoditized service that will get them to their goals based on where they're at, and it's all this analysis and data from there.
Yep.
And that's kind of the in the box. That's the best way to run it.
That is the way to run an agency.
That's the money, because that's where the business owners are
Right.
usually. When I've met business owners, they were always like, I know this digital marketing world is working for some businesses, and I know that I'm not doing enough. I just don't get it, and I don't have time to get it. So what they're actually buying is the fact that you've spent years figuring it all out. What they buy is your 20 plus years of experience of failing and learning and testing and failing and learning and testing to be able to take all of that and put it into this is the right way for you. They trust they can go forward with that, and then you sell them the thing that you do that was devised from the consultation.
Right. So it could be that you have a fairly solid system, and you can sell strategy and the labor at the exact same time, but they're two different line items on the agreement.
Right.
Okay. So every month that you're billing them, there's a line item that says strategy.
Right.
All right. Or whatever you want to call it. Right. You can give it a name, but it's thinking. Right? Get paid for thinking every single month, because that's the only thing they're going to find valuable.
Right. Because if it's only a line, and this is like literally psychological, like that CFO at some point, and even if it's you putting on that CFO hat for a minute or your client, they look and they're like, backlinks, I should be able to get that cheaper.
Yep.
Right. But when it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they thought they did interesting stuff, they helped me with my business, and they got this going. That's why, interesting.
Yep.
That's smart.
That is how you make money.
That is how you make money.
Okay. And I've just given you a $5,000 course.
Right.
If you just take what I just said right there, the best courses out on the market are going to maybe teach you that.
And so the follow-up question people have when they hear that is, well, what are those things that I audit? What are those things that I do? But it's really important to come back to domain knowledge. And in the first video we did, the second video we did, and here in the third video, it always comes back to the domain knowledge. This world of being a consultant is not like, I've never done anything, I don't know anything, and I'm going to go charge 10 grand a session for clients. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you actually have to have skills and the ability to improve the businesses of others. And if you don't, you need to at least be building those skills for yourself. So when I sold SEO services and WordPress websites, Melanie and I had built a website that was getting 30,000 visits per month. That's 1,000 visits a day. What would that do to most local businesses? That would be a big time boost. So I had all these analytics graphs. I had the proof that I knew enough about the search engines and content marketing to make that work. So I was able to strategize and apply for them. I didn't separate the two, which was not intelligent, because I spent more of my time actually doing the strategy work than actually doing that. Was actually the easy part. That's a really, it's a small subtle tweak. So that's where it comes back to, because I know your thought is going to be like, well, Tim, if that's a $5,000 course, they'll tell me everything to do. And it's like, you have to go get real world experience at getting good at something. That's what the 20-year person who stops doing their job that they made $73 an hour or $73,000 a year doing, and then they go become a consultant that makes $330,000 a year doing the same damn thing they did. They just got so good at it, they're like chose a different model that scaled them up. It's because of the 20 years. They're bringing 20. How much is the shortcut if you want me to take everything I've learned about business and help you in a weekend compile that together? Like, it's going to cost you 10 grand to hang out for a weekend to compile that, minimum for me. And actually, you can't even buy that. That was just a random momentary thing. But that's the idea. You're not buying those hours over the weekend. You're buying my 15 years of life experience. Yeah. And that needs to be sold.
So this is why I rant about all those courses, because they promise to turn you into an expert. The thing is, you have to be an expert.
Right.
If you're not an expert, you become an expert. Right. So I earlier in this, I gave you tricks on how to become an authority and become an authority quickly. Being an authority is easy, because I've met some guys back in an earlier form of my life. I helped a lot of make money guys sell their courses. And we'd go out to these stages and everything, and I got to meet some of my heroes. And I found out they actually didn't know anything. But they were amazing authorities. So they could sell anything really well. Yeah. but all they were was an authority. They didn't have expertise. That's why they were a speaker, an author, and coach, and not an agency owner, because they didn't have expertise. So they used, and this is getting harder and harder to do in this era of complete connectivity, is to just be an authority and not actually have expertise anymore.
It's kind of the fake it till you make it.
Right. That was something you could do pre-internet. Right.
Especially pre-Web 2.0.
Right.
Before I can go click 1 star, this dude does not know what he's talking about, enter,
right,
submit, automatically displayed.
Right. So now, if you're going to be an agency work, you're in the business of expertise, authority. And so here's how I define it. Authority is what attracts people to you and want to give you money. Expertise is what keeps them.
Huh. I like that. So I got an email the other day. This dude's got like some funnel, and it's in the fitness, and he's looking for somebody to take over his funnel, and he's seen my work, and it's generating like $15,000 a month, and he thinks I could scale it to here, there, the other. He sent me that email, and I was like, dude, I'm building my own assets. No, enter, right? But like, he sent me that email because of the authority that I've built, because I've presented so much how-to information that clearly I know what I'm doing. So I get all these people coming at me. But if we did a deal, that deal would last for many years, because I'm actually an expert, and I can actually do what it looks like I promise I can do. Now that I've done some speaking, I've seen it a lot, what you're talking about. There's a lot of people who sell from the stage who they know enough to string together a 1-hour bit that's like, it hits the right talking points. It looks good. Well, I was just at Social Media Marketing World, the head keynote for night 1, teaching at social media about why you need to do it, and here's how you experiment, and here's how you grow social media. 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, like 800 fans on Facebook. They had no platform, and they're on stage in front of thousands of people teaching us how to grow a platform. And Melanie has 100x bigger platform. I've got a 10x bigger platform. We walked out. We were like, the bit is good. The soundbite works. It's Gary Vee. They're just restating what Gary Vee is saying in their own little goofy way. But they weren't experts,
right?
And I felt it. And I think what happens is, once you're a pro, like a 10 can recognize a 1, right? You might fool a total beginner, but you ain't fooling somebody who knows anything. And there's a lot of people in this world, even some of the well-known marketers, who are they're just running cons.
That's why I don't sell to newbies.
Right.
I just don't do it. You can ask me questions on my YouTube channel. You can ask me questions on Facebook. I'll gladly answer them right out in the open, because it answers it for 1,000 people, right?
Creates authority.
Right, it does. It creates even more authority for me. So I'll do that, but I won't sell you anything. I will not allow you to give me money, because I sell to the hard people to sell to, people who are actual successful people, because they need people who are actually very good at what they do to come in and help them. Right. So that's why every course you'll ever see out there for how to run an agency, it's always aimed at newbies. I've not seen a single course aimed at people who are doing 50,000 or more a month.
Right.
Because it's hard.
Right. And because your Facebook ad's going to miss them, because those people aren't on Facebook wasting time. They're doing the work.
Right.
They're busy. They're actually doing the work. They're not searching around. That's really interesting. There's no way we're getting through all of these.
No, let's try to get a few more in.
Yep,
and
totally.
Then we got to go have fun. We got to eat lunch, and then we got to
Dude, we're going to go to a vegan tamale joint, and it's like this little, oh man, lunch is on me for doing this. So thank you very much for popping in on this. So is the market too saturated with digital agencies?
Yes and no. Like I said earlier, that there are 1 million people. I'm a digital marketing expert.
Right.
1 million of them. 1 million of them that I'm a Facebook expert. 1 million of them that I'm an Instagram expert.
I'm an SMM agency.
SMMA, right? God. Invented by Ty Lopez.
Right. Right.
So, but it's actually a good name, though.
Yeah.
I actually like that name.
He makes acronyms for everything.
Yeah,
He's
awesome.
good at that. Yeah.
It's awesome.
He's a brilliant marketer,
right.
But
he's never run an agency.
No,
before.
It's really difficult.
Right. So, and he only sells his course to newbies, right? But where was it going? So, is it saturated? Yes. but there is a gigantic opening for anyone with real skill sets who builds a solid brand.
For people who can actually do the work. For like so many people are learning the talking points, they're learning what to say, they're learning how to present. They get we'll give you the templates for outreach, we'll give you the templates so you can start your SMMMMMMM, and like they do those things, and then it actually makes it bad for all consultants out there because they can't deliver, because they don't actually have any real world experience. They just went through a course. So if you're someone who can actually get results for clients, you can increase their lead flow, you can increase their margins, you can increase their bottom line and make them more money, there is always going to be demand. I was on the...
but I got to interrupt you.
All right.
That's the entry level. That's entry level.
Got it.
Right? So, because you've got all that morass.
That's to rise a little bit above the noise.
Because no one can tell the difference between someone who's actually good and someone who doesn't know what they're talking about.
Until after
paying the money.
Right.
So the only thing that's going to get people to give you money is your authority. So you have to build an amazing brand. Your brand is the thing that's going to get people coming in, and they're going to go, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you with this money and my time, which is really actually hard to get from a client.
Right.
You can get their money pretty
Time's
easy.
a tough one.
But getting
I love throwing money at problems.
time,
but you need me to sit down and work on something for a few hours, like that's tough.
getting their time to actually collaborate and deliver for them, really hard. But they're going to give you time and money. They're only going to do that to people that they can know, like, and trust. And the only thing that's going to get you that is your brand. If somebody can take your competitor's logo and throw it on your website and the message is exactly the same, no one can tell the difference, you don't have a brand, and you're going to get lumped in with all those people who don't know what they're doing.
And it becomes a race to the bottom. It's
Yes.
the Amazon sort by price, and I want to look at all of the white label crap from China because I'm just going to get the cheapest damn one. And somebody out there is going to be willing to take smaller margins than you will.
Yes, and as I said earlier, you cannot really enjoy being in an agency unless you have very high margins. If you're not charging a lot of money with very high margins, you are going to hate doing this for several years.
And you need to really
I've
be able
been
to help
doing
them.
it for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Right. So and I did the cheap stuff before, and it will drive you insane.
Boom. I think it's important to keep in mind there's almost 30 million small businesses in the U.S. If you want to go to the SBBA or the SBA.gov, you can get all of the statistics on it. There's a lot of businesses out there, and they all need really, really good help. The authority. I want to end it on that because that's the bit, right? Like that's what we were uncovering here is the authority is what you have the ability to build on your own, regardless of where you're at, what your domain knowledge is, what you've done in the past at all. And that's what a lot of these courses teach people too. So there's a race for authority going on, right? You're against all the other people, and it's noisy for a business owner at that level of authority. So you need to find your little ways to stand out. I think the meetup group, then on the podcast, these little local groups, to me, it's so much easier to become a star in your backyard than it is to try to go be the carpet cleaning guy when there's already 30 carpet cleaning guys, and Joe Polish made $1 million in that niche 15 plus years ago. So there's the authority to get it all going, but then you have to be able to execute in a way that you're truly going to deliver results for them, which means you have to have a level of expertise, and you need to sell the brain and the thing. And that 2-part thing, the authority draws them in, that gets you on their radar. Then you're doing your 3 hours a day of your sales processes, you're prospecting, your sales, and you're following up. That gets you those sales presentations to actually get the clients. Once they're on, you get them on a strategy level to get that brain working to maximize the income. That's what's going to keep them there for the long term. You get them on some sort of monthly thing after that. From that point on, follow up is so key because most people are too busy. They didn't get back with you. You have to stay on top of it. Do not expect them to stay on top of it.
All right. There's a lot of questions. So can I hit them with something awesome?
Yeah.
All right.
Swing.
So we're gonna head out and go have some fun. So because doing this is about having a great life, and we're gonna go have a great life here in a second. So we've got a lot of questions left. What if we did like a webinar, like an open, get on Zoom?
Yep.
And your people can just ask me questions. We can schedule a time, go on live, and you can just ask me questions because I can do it from my home office, and I'll answer as many questions I possibly can.
Totally. Let's do it. I think it's great. Tim Conley, I always appreciate you, man. Again, if you haven't followed Tim Conley yet, I don't know what you've been waiting for. He's Hey Tim Conley on Instagram, Tim Conley on YouTube. You're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
You're on other places.
I'm on other places.
Really appreciate your time. I think that it's great to see another individual who wants to give value and help in a sea of fake gurus trying to just sell you shit. You gotta go you really just gotta get that domain knowledge. You really just gotta be able to help people. Do the work. You'll be amazed what you can create. Any last words for our viewers?
Oh man, no.
We're gonna go floor-wheeling and eat tamales.
I'm worn out.
Yeah, totally, man. I appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe, like, do all the things. Subscribe, like his stuff too. I appreciate you. I'll come out with another video here in a couple days. Until then, be well. Cheers.